everyone. I'm Rebecca Toutant. I'm a dietitian, a personal trainer, and a certified diabetes educator. A big part of my day is spent explaining to patients and clients prediabetes, diabetes, and what's going on inside their body. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a demo today about something that I do in clinic. Whenever you eat foods that have the chemistry of carbohydrate, that becomes blood sugar, also known as blood glucose. Blood sugar is not a bad thing. It's actually what your muscles and your brain use for energy. You need it. So imagine that this is your bloodstream, and your bloodstream attaches to all of your muscles. So whenever you eat carbohydrate, the more carbohydrate you eat, the more blood sugar you will have traveling throughout your bloodstream, trying to get into the muscle. There's a door that controls whether or not the blood sugar gets in, and that is the problem in type 2 diabetes. People in type 2 diabetes, they have the key to the door, known as insulin, but the door itself is not working like it should. So the more carbohydrate they eat, the more energy they have trying to get into a space that is not working well. So we have two different things we want to do to try to fix the problem. One is to fix the door. If we can get the door to open, the blood sugar goes where it's meant to be. The other thing we can work on is controlling how much carbohydrate we eat so we don't have more blood sugar than our muscles can use in a day. So as I mentioned, we really want to get that door to open. If we get the door to open, the blood sugar can go where it belongs. So one of the first things that we know that really affects the door is exercise, so movement. When you are active, the muscle demands more energy. And energy, as we know, is blood sugar. So whenever you move, the door is going to open and the blood sugar goes where it belongs. The more intense the movement or the physical activity, the longer the door is open in the hours after the exercise. So for example, if you go for a casual stroll, you are going to be using energy during that casual walk. However, when it's done, the door is probably going to close. If you pick up the pace and work a little bit harder, the door is going to be open longer after the exercise is done. Activities like strength training are really helpful because when you strength train, you're building muscle. The more muscle you have, the more doors there are, which allows more opportunity for the blood sugar to go where it belongs. So exercise is one of the pieces I encourage every person to start, whether you're going to walk, go for a run, swim, strength train, everything counts. So the next piece of the puzzle that we know affects the door is the quality of the foods that we eat. And the particular quality that we know is saturated fat. So the research has shown that the more saturated fat people eat, the more likely it is that the door will close. So saturated fat is not an evil thing. However, it is a type of fat found in animal-based products. So the higher the fat content of that animal food, the more saturated fat it's going to have. So fried foods, for example, are going to have more saturated fat. Things made with bacon, butter, cheese, sausage, pastrami, salami, bologna, hot dogs, they are going to have more saturated fat. You don't need to eliminate them from your diet, but there is some benefit to trying to reduce some of the saturated fat, swapping out for some of the leaner foods. So for example, maybe doing more chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, beans to get your protein sources. If you're putting cheese on everything, maybe it's doing a little bit less cheese, swapping out for a little bit less butter, trying to get more baked foods instead of fried foods. So again, not perfection, but if you're having a lot of saturated fat, seeing if you can reduce it a little bit. Another piece that we know that affects insulin resistance, or also known as this door concept that I'm talking about, is alcohol and tobacco. So we know that tobacco is something that closes the door. I don't really have any idea of what a safe level of tobacco is. Less is better, absolutely. In terms of alcohol, moderate alcohol consumption hasn't really been shown to be a problem, which for women is about 1 drink a day, men is 2 drinks a day. But the research has shown having more alcohol and a lot of alcohol and or tobacco is something that is going to close the door. Right, so that is a little bit more about what prediabetes and diabetes, type 2 diabetes is. There are always a lot more questions that come after that about the role of insulin, different medications, the difference between type 1 and type 2, as well as how do I make this whole thing work for me and my lifestyle in a way that doesn't make me feel deprived. So that's where nutrition counseling comes in. So when I meet with a patient or a client, those are the types of details that we go over to really tailor it to what you need as an individual and what makes you happy. So I hope that helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and I'll try to get back to you, or come meet with me. Thank you.